Morning, everyone. It's sportsbookreview.com, and this is March into Madness. And we are not hanging about today. We've got 44 games to go through, and we've got one for last night. Not hanging about at all. Everyone in the chat, eyes down for a full house. Duke cover the 88, and they cover Donnie.
Well, welcome into the show. Yes, we'll have some fun here today, Flash. But yes, Duke, how about yesterday? One of the few, and look, I didn't have anything on the card that I extremely liked, but I thought Duke might be able to bounce back. Not sure if they could actually cover that double-digit number, but I thought their offense would kick into motion. And reading through Twitter and social media and watching the first half for Duke, same old Duke, early exit, and they turn on their gas, and Cameron heat it up, got their team total, got an easy victory last night.
Okay, this is how it's going to play out. We're going to go through a little bit of the conference tournament odds. I'm going to get Max's view. If you haven't got nothing to say, lads, it's a straight pass because we ain't got no time for no leans and ums and ahs. It's straight yes, no, get off the fence. So we're going to start off conference tournament odds. We're going to go Ohio Valley, Max. And we've got Belmont at minus 500. Minus 500 for Belmont. Is there any value in the others like Murray State and Austin P? Muted, Max. Great start.
I think there's going to be value on Murray State and Austin P. I think that with Belmont, we've seen them being able to succumb to late game mismanagement of the basketball and running their offense. I think that it's really about getting out to a good start against a team like this, and I think that the dark horse is Eastern Kentucky.
Okay, what about you? Ohio Valley Conference Tournament, Donnie, anything on there for you?
Yeah, Max brings up a good point on Eastern Kentucky. You know they're going to run with tempo and pace, and also when you're looking at these type of conferences, if you're going to run tempo and pace, if you have the horses to do it, some of these teams playing on back-to-back nights, that could be to your advantage. But I also agree with Max as well. Well, I mean, we can also just sit here and say Belmont minus 500, let's keep it moving and move on. But I do think Murray State does have a little bit of value, getting that plus money number between 145 and 150. Do have a split with Austin P and both Belmont, so they've shown that they can beat these teams. I can't come on here and say, hey, let's just take Belmont at that huge price. Murray State probably has the most value here, Flash.
Yeah, I agree. And if you're like Eastern Kentucky, it's plus 10,000. I had to have a look. There was that many noughts. Okay, Conference Tournament, Big South, Radford, minus 177, but Winthrop at minus 152. Any chance that there's anything else in there, Donnie?
I mean, I think there's some ones that you can take maybe a long shot on, but keep in mind in this tournament here, home teams are going to get to play these championship games and the higher seeded teams on their home court. That's very important. That's why you're seeing Radford and Winthrop as prohibitive favorites. But there is one squad lurking down there at a 60-1 number to win this. And yes, I'm talking about those Hampton Pirates. But yeah, the only downfall is you actually would like to see that this tournament was played maybe at a neutral site to give them sort of an advantage because we know their offense is much better at home than it is on the road. But if we look at Hampton at that 60-1 number, lost to Radford, but 83-79 and 81-78 played those teams tough and also had a split with Winthrop. If you're going long shot, I do like the favorite, Radford. I think they're the best team in the conference. They'll probably have home court throughout. But Hampton brings up maybe that outside shot. They don't rely on the three-pointer. They got explosive guards and Ben Stanley down low. Should be fun. Maybe 60-1's worth a shot here.
If ever there was a pirate in a former life, it was you, Max.
Listen, Flash, I think that we're forgetting about one team that has been putting in work, smacking people in the mouth, and telling them you owe me money. It's called the Gardner-Webb Bulldogs. Since Jose Perez has gone out of the lineup, this team has literally stepped up in every way that you could want a team to do so. They have band together, team balanced basketball, and I'm saying Gardner-Webb is going to win this tournament. Gardner-Webb's going to steal this bid, and they're going to get knocked down the first round of the NCAAs.
Gardner-Webb plus 1,100. Look no further. Have a little bit of that. Plenty worms. Missouri Valley, Northern Iowa, minus 305. Loyola, Chicago, plus 300. Bradley sleeping at plus 600, Max.
Yeah, with MVC, I like Bradley if they're healthy, and if they don't have to play Northern Iowa until the finals, I think that's going to be what helps them get along. In this tournament, there's a lot of parity, there's a lot of matchup advantages when it comes to individual matchups where you can't just make a generalization. I think that a team like Missouri State, you still have to be worried about them. They have a lot of pieces. Even though they've been riddled with injuries, we've seen guys stepped up with Keandre Cook, Gage Prim, inside-out scoring, and if you have a dominant big man in an elimination tournament, you never know. So this is wide open. I look towards Bradley, but I see Missouri State as a dark horse.
Yeah, well, you take Bradley at plus 600, Donnie. They get to the final. They won't be plus 600 then, so you take the value and then you can hedge.
Yeah, one of this tournament, again, keep in mind, even though it is a mid-major, these guys play all their games on a neutral court site there with the championship game. Obviously, we like Northern Iowa, probably the most talented team in conference, but those teams that you look forward to who play really well at home, the Loyola Chicagos of the world, they're not going to have that advantage. When I was going through this conference and trying to find some, it's really a shame because you could have got Valpo at a 40-1 number, but can you bet Valpo, probably without their best player who comes down with mononucleosis? I had to cross that one off the board. Trying to look a little bit farther down because, you guys know me. I love Bradley. They have every single component you need, especially to win on a neutral court. They can hit the three. They can drive to the rim. They have a good rim protector and also a power forward in Elijah Childs that can score anywhere at any time and is a double-double machine. But the one team I was trying to look at to say, you know what? Maybe take one of those plus 750 shots on Indiana State. And the reason being is because I like to look to see how they did in conference play throughout the season. They beat Bradley, Loyola, and also Northern Iowa. 4 straight W's to end the season. Coming into the tournament, number 1 in the conference at not turning the basketball over, but also number 1 in the conference at defending the three-point line. I think they get an outside shot here. If you want to stray away from those favorites, maybe give Indiana State a look here.
Nice one, Bernie. We like that a lot. And obviously people who don't know about Valpo, that's Valparaiso. Okay, Patriot League. Colgate minus 200, Boston plus 350, and American at plus 450. Donnie and Max, you've both liked American.
Well, yeah, of course I love American. I love Saeed Nelson, Jameer Harris. You have 2 guards that can make buckets when you need them late in games. Defense is going to be the catalyst in this tournament. I think that's where it comes down to Boston University and Colgate. I have a hard time going against Colgate when they're healthy and so experienced, and they've done this before. I think that it's going to be really up to matchups. The one team that I think that can surprise would be Army, but I think that it's Colgate's to win. It's Colgate's to lose.
Yeah, that's fair enough. They're minus 200, so obviously that's good value if they become the winner. Donnie, minus 200, too rich for you?
It's not too rich for me. I think they're the better overall team in this conference, but you do see, tempo is not really the key in this conference. You slow it down, you play some defense, force teams to miss shots, you can come back. I don't like to go with the prohibitive favorite in the conference, but I do think Colgate's the best overall. Not really one of the conferences that I do delve into and say, you know what, you got to take this team, but I do lean on the favorite Colgate in this conference.
Okay, Donnie, I'm going to start with you. We're going to go into the breakdown now. And we've got Maryland. They're getting a point going into Rutgers, sitting at the top. They want to get this championship sewn up.
Yeah, Maryland, obviously the better basketball team, but what are you going to get? The one thing that we always look at when we say with Rutgers is what? You might want to try to avoid them on the road, but also you can zero in because they want to win their games at the rack, and they've been very efficient at home in New Brunswick. When you take a look at this basketball game, Rutgers plays really good defense and plays really good defense at home. You take a look at Maryland, also a decent defensive team. It comes down to styles that make fights in this game. You're going to look at Maryland, who loves to shoot the three-point shot in conference play, shooting 46% volume. That means almost 50% of their shots in conference play are coming from the three-point line. One of the teams that will let you shoot three-pointers. Only 14 teams in this conference, 13th at letting you shoot three-pointers. I think Maryland is a better overall team here, but I'm going to go with that same theory with the Big Ten all year long. It's really hard to win on the road, especially in conference play. I think maybe Rutgers rises up here in this one.
Okay, Max, Rutgers love it at home. Maryland, it's all or nothing with them, and I fancy the under.
I like the under at 133. I don't like it at 129 or 128 and a half, plain and simple. So
we'll keep an eye on that.
That's the number. No point in dealing with that. What am I doing with this game? I'm going with Maryland. I'm going with the road team. I'm going with the team with the better standout point guard. I'm going with the better big man that can take you outside and hit the three-point shot consistently and can also hit his free throws. Miles Thompson, Shaq Carter, what do they both share in common? They have a little bit of a problem shooting free throws. I think that if Geo Baker is inconsistent like he has been over the last 8 games, we're going to see him struggle to shoot the basketball, continue to shoot the basketball, and they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. I think that Maryland is going to be able to continue what they did at home versus Rutgers team on the road. Coming off that embarrassing Michigan State performance, I expect a rebound performance. My numbers liked Maryland considerably, even at this number. So I'm good with Maryland. It is Maryland official play.
Yeah, let's go the Terrapins. Go the Pins. Love that. Max, I'm coming to you. I thought this was probably the best bet on the night. Michigan State, -1.5, going into Penn State. Difference in quality here. And Michigan State, they just smashed the Pins over the weekend.
Yeah, listen, this is a plain and simple breakdown. Michigan State is hot. Penn State is cooled. This is a revenge spot for Michigan State. Michigan State has aspirations of bigger things. Penn State is trying to create that identity. I look for Michigan State to go in, get revenge. They lost 75-70. You're getting great performances out of other guys than Xavier Tillman and Cassius Winston. If you're getting that, then this team's going to win games. So, yeah, revenge time, Michigan State all day.
Okay, Donnie, I know you got your monster next year. You're going to need it over the next 90 minutes, and if 90 minutes is not long enough, we'll go into overtime. Are you happy with Michigan State giving the 1.5 on the road to Penn?
Yeah, I think Michigan State is turning around. I think they are a very good look, a slight favorite here. But it's, again, we're talking about the Big Ten team here. We've seen Penn State time and time again at home in these same situations where you think maybe they're a little bit outmanned, but continue to come up large at home in the Bryce Jordan Center. But also now that we get back another key component trying to work his way in, Myron Jones back for his second game in a row after having some weird designated illness tag for it seems like the last 2 months. We'll see if he can work his way in, play just about, I believe, 20 minutes in the last game, maybe even look at some increased time. I'm going to stick with what's been working all season long. Michigan State maybe struggling a little bit here on the road, and Penn State coming up with winners. It has the same feel to me as the previous game we just talked about between Rutgers and Maryland. I think Maryland's the better basketball team, and I also think Michigan State's the better basketball team. But going into these two environments where both of those teams play extremely well, I'll lean on the home dog in this environment.
Okay, and I'll be quite happy for Michigan to lead at half-time. By the way, I think it's probably going to be -1 at the half. I like Michigan State to get off to an absolute flyer. Now, Tennessee. Local game this. Tennessee +8.5 going into Kentucky, Donnie.
Yeah, tough road to hoe to go into Kentucky. I mean, playing good basketball here, young team trying to set up their SEC tournament seeding and also obviously making a run in the March Madness. We'll see what Coach Cal and the boys can do. Both of these teams play good defense. If we're looking for efficiency on defense, you come to the right spot in the SEC. Kentucky, number 2 overall in conference defense, and then take a look at Tennessee at number 3 overall. If we look at Tennessee's offense, like to shoot the three-point shot. About 38% of their shots come from three-point range. Excuse me. Kentucky, 11th in the conference at letting you shoot from three-point range. That should be a decent matchup here. But one thing we know about Kentucky, they defend down low very well. Number 1 in the conference, only allowing 43% from inside the arc. A super athletic team getting right at the right time. I lean Kentucky in this spot here down in the SEC.
Yeah, lean Kentucky. Giving up the 8.5, Max. They're flying, to be fair to them. But will they cover the 8.5?
Listen, I think that when I look at this game, I think that Tennessee has the value in the first half. I think that they're playing with revenge. University of Kentucky's wrapped up the conference title. Maybe they have a little bit of a letdown in the first half. This is a University of Kentucky team that I've enjoyed betting on live in the second half, and that's what I believe will have the most value tonight. I think that I want to get a number between 3.5 and 5.5. If I can get that live, I'm going to be hitting that. I expect Kentucky to be able to turn Tennessee over. I expect them to limit them on the offensive glass, and I expect them to pressure the ball and not allow Tennessee to operate in the half court without any kind of pressure, because that's when they're going to be able to get John Fulkerson the ball on the baseline, and that's when they're going to get Yves Pons the ball in the middle of the paint, and he's going to either spot up or he's going to take it to the rim. So you watch Tennessee games, you see exactly what they're doing on offense. So if you can stop that with ball pressure, with on-ball defensive ball pressure, well, we know what's going to happen in the end. Tennessee may hang in, but they won't last.
Okay, so Tennessee first half, but Kentucky's the in-play. So just look out, and if Kentucky get off, just leave it. Just don't even bother chasing the number. Here's one I love. Purdue on the road, woof, +5.5, going into Iowa, Max.
Yeah, this is a simple spot. I'll make this short and sweet. I'm on Iowa.
I'm
on Luka Garza on senior night. Luka Garza is going to be taking. They're going to be taking blankers to school. That's what he's going to do. CJ Frederick's back in the lineup. When CJ Frederick's in the lineup, this is an Iowa team that I trust the fluidity, the transition offense of this team. No way Purdue is shooting and making 14 three-point shots once again versus Iowa team. There's no way that they're getting close to putting up 100 on them. And Iowa's getting plain and simple revenge. This is a Big Ten team that I'm going to back at home.
Okay, you said short and sweet. I've been to shorter weddings, Max. Donnie, let's go.
Yeah, no, I'll keep it short and sweet. I think Max is on to something. 4 straight losses until that win against Indiana for Purdue. And I got to tell you, watching that Indiana-Purdue game set the conference back probably 25 years because Indiana was shooting shots that barely even hit the backboard for most of the first half. So obviously they're going to get that win, but you're going into Iowa now. You have one team that likes to slow it down at Purdue. You have a team that comes out in Iowa that's going to be more efficient and wants to push the tempo. I'm not so sure Purdue – I don't like Purdue as overall as a whole with the components of their game. I lean towards Iowa in this one. I think they cover maybe even a possible double-digit victory if they get the tempo to go their way.
Yeah, no dangers they cover. They absolutely smash them. I'd even go Iowa, giving up the free first half. I think Purdue on the road. Proper woofers. We don't like them dogs. Okay, here we go to the majors. Mississippi State getting 2 going into South Carolina, Max.
Yeah, this is a spot where I look either at Mississippi State on the road or I just pass.
Yeah, listen, well, it's one of those. But they come so close. They find a way to get beat, but they do put up good performances, Donnie.
Yeah, when you take a look, I mean, the styles make fights in this one also. You're going to look for a team that's not so much high in on tempo for Mississippi State, but you do get South Carolina that is high on tempo. And the one thing I really like about this matchup, when you take a look at South Carolina's defense, very efficient, but the one thing they do, if you ever watch this team play, they are extremely deep, and they don't give a damn sending you to the free throw line. Like by far the team that fouls the most in SEC are them. Now, when you take a look at you put that in the play and say, well, what does that actually mean? That slows the tempo down. That means you're going to be in the bonus by about 10 minutes to go in the first half, and that means you're probably going to be in the double bonus for the last 6 to 7 minutes of that half. You have teams that like to get to the line with Mississippi State. You have explosive players. Nick Weatherspoon should be able to get in there, and when you have a team, as I said, that all they care about is, you know what, we're going to make contested shots work. You're going to foul. The time's going to stop. I look for an over in this game, but more importantly, from a side perspective, I think South Carolina is going to be able to push the tempo and try to speed Mississippi State up. I like Mississippi State's team total from a better perspective than actually the side or the game total itself.
Yeah, I fancy you go over total and you go over both the team totals. I think because obviously if they think it's going to be, say, 150 and you've got, 78, 75 or 77, 74. I mean, I'd go both. I'll just go overs all the way. Wake Forest getting 7.5 going into North Carolina, Donnie.
Yeah, it's looking at the same type of thing in this game. You know, I'm an over player, and these two teams, heading down the very disappointing seasons, heading into the bottom of the ACC, trying to make their run, maybe get some seeding in the ACC tournament, catch lightning in a bottle, which I don't think is going to happen. But both of these teams will play with tempo and push the basketball. From a side perspective, looking at it, I actually like the team totals over as well. But I think more importantly, if I'm going to get tempo on both sides, I don't know how much defense I'm going to get, but both of these teams should be able to exploit each other. I like the over in this game as opposed to a team total more. So that's the way I'm going.
We're going over, Max. Are you over, under?
I don't really have a good edge on this game to begin with, but I'd be looking at Wake Forest team total over at 71.5 if you can get better juice than -115.
Okay, so that's over Wake Forest. Team total, 71.5. Now, here's a team that you absolutely have farmed over the recent weeks. Syracuse, giving up 4.5 on the road, going into Boston, Max.
Yeah, going up against Boston College, definitely you got to look at Syracuse from an over perspective. This is a team that's done a good job of cashing overs for you all season long. And with Elijah Hughes and Buddy Boeheim and Joe Girard, we've seen a lot of three-point scoring. We've seen a lot of high consistency coming from the perimeter, which is kind of weird to see from a Syracuse team because I can't really remember a year where they've been actually efficient from the perimeter and not just good penetrators. But I think that it comes down to what can you expect offensively from Boston College. And even though Derek Thornton and Nick Popovich are healthy, these are guys that can get easily injured in game. This is two players that, while had good potential, are a little bit inconsistent. And I think that losing in a program like Boston College for multiple seasons has an effect on some players. Obviously, Derek Thornton's only been there 1 year, but From a number perspective, I think that Syracuse is just able to extend the defense of Boston College, and if the three-point shot isn't dropping, they're going to be able to drop it in. They're going to be able to get it to a guy like Quincy Guerre, and I think that getting to the free throw line will also be an advantage for them. So this is a Syracuse spot only, and of course, because I like Syracuse a lot today, Syracuse hat, official it up.
So you're giving up the 4.5, and what about the first half at around maybe 2.5?
I think that there's definitely an advantage number-wise for Syracuse in first halves. We've seen Boston College struggle to get to 30, where Syracuse can get to 35, but I'd rather give them the full game because that's when I think Syracuse offense really comes alive, and that's in the second half.
Okay, Donnie, we're going to go with Syracuse. Giving up the 4.5, road favourite. They look strong.
Yeah, Syracuse is the only side for me in this one, but also I think Max is, I think I get some points here, but I got bit a little bit in this last game, almost a similar type of environment here. Notre Dame with that team total 73.5 to 74 versus Boston College had a decent pace going into the half, but both teams stopped scoring in the second half. I need Boston College to try to keep pace with Syracuse because, as we said, a little bit different Syracuse team that you've seen in the past, willing to fire the threes, willing to get to the free throw line and push a little bit of tempo. I think Syracuse scores based on the last couple of games and basically all throughout their ACC play. They've shown us tempo. They've shown the ability to shoot the three-point shot. They've shown the ability to get to the line and also push tempo, as I said. I think I'm willing to get back in bed with Syracuse as a team total. Shows up on 5 dimes right now at 73.5. I think that's a good play. That's the way I go in this game.
Yep, get back into bed with Syracuse. Donnie says, okay, Cincinnati, -4 going into South Florida. Donnie, I'm going to start with you. Looks like a tough game, giving up 4 on the road.
Yeah, I mean, one of those teams, and again, me being from my, primary origins here as a team total over guy, when I see teams like South Florida come into play, it sort of makes me shiver because not great outside shooting. They rely on dumping it down to a big man who is a pretty good big guy. But if you watch this game, the microcosm of South Florida, what you're going to get into bed with, and probably Max had a perfect angle betting that game under during the in-game play, was you saw South Florida come out hot against Temple, like 20 points in the first 10 minutes. Like, get the hell out of here. This team's lined at like maybe a 63, 64 on the team total. And of course, they slowed it down. When, Riddell goes out of the basketball game, they are offensive on offense there, Flash. So it's one of those teams where if I'm looking for a team total perspective, I know South Florida is really going to slow it down. The one thing that you're getting out of Cincinnati is a little bit more points, but they'll engage you if you want to slow it down. I just see one of those games as a rock fight. It's a stay-away game for me. I just wish Cincinnati's going up against a different opponent. South Florida is where team totals go to die for me.
Yeah, South Florida getting 4 points at home. I think I favour them, Max.
Yeah, you're on the right track there, Flash. I'm on South Florida +4. I'm taking the under 127.5, even though it opened and moved up from 126. Listen, South Florida did this last year, and they rode it to either it was a CBI or a CIT championship. So, listen, this is a South Florida team that had higher expectations for themselves. Alexis Yetna going out definitely derailed that, and we saw it during conference play. There was stretches where this team was very good. There were stretches where this team was very bad. What was consistent was that they were going under at home at this number, aside from games like the ECU game where they went to overtime. I think that the under is a solid play. We're talking about a South Florida team that is not efficient from the free throw line, is not efficient from the field. They have one three-point shooter in Justin Brown that's consistent, and even that's really pushing it when I say consistent. I do worry about Castaneda and Macherovic. These guys are like old school scorers, back to the bucket, try and get close to the rim, using the backboard. So definitely Cincinnati has to be on point. You cannot trust them laying any kind of points right now. What have they done, ATS? They've lost 6 straight. They've been burning your money. I'm going with the home dog. If this game goes to overtime and kills the under, hopefully we can still get the +4. So that's how I look at it. So +4, under 127.5.
Yeah, what I've been doing recently, when we go overs, I go both the team totals over because you're going to get one of them that's going to cash. And if you get it both and we have an absolute blowout, then we love that because we get paid on free angles. The same with the unders. If we're going to go under, we go both team totals under. And if one hits, one loses, it's just like having a push for minute stake. Davison getting 5.5, going into Richmond, Max.
Yeah, Davidson, yeah. They're an enigma for me. I think that losing Luke Frampton definitely is a big loss for them. I definitely want to find out what the status of Mike Jones is for tonight, because they're going to need depth against this Richmond Spider team. They got 2 or 3 very good penetrating guards, a dominant big man, a guy that can take you out on the perimeter, take you inside, Nathan Ko, and plays defense. I think that there's just a lot of weapons to take care of from a defensive standpoint, and you really have to pick your poison when it comes to Richmond. I think that with Richmond, they've been hot. They've been doing it with defense. They've been doing it with offense. I think that they step up in competition, and I think that they really have to lock down Davidson tonight, not allow them to score the 3. Plain and simple. If you can stop Davidson from the 3-point line, you're going to beat them and you're going to cover the number. I'm not making anything official on this play yet.
Okay, move on. What about you? Johnny, Richmond at home, Davison, and they're giving up the 5. In fact, there's 5.5 in places, and obviously if you shop around and give up a little bit of juice, it's just a 5.
Yeah, also looking offshore too. Pinnacle showing is 6. Even the books in New Jersey, DraftKings and Sugar House now up to 6 as well. I think it's a little bit too rich for my blood in that respect, but I'm trying to find an angle to see if we can get into, probably taking a team total with Richmond, because I think Max brings up some really good points. When you take a look at Davidson in the past, obviously not the most athletic teams, and you do have 2 athletic penetrating guards on Richmond, and you have the perfect storm down low, guys that can pass out of double teams and knock down wide open shots. So when you take a look at home games for Richmond where you want to zero in, after that clunker back on January 11th to St. Louis, where they only scored 58 points. At home, 75 points, 79 points, 76 points, 77 versus VCU. George Mason, that low point at 65, but then rebounded with a 95 shot against Massachusetts the last time they came out and played. Last home game for Richmond here. I think they put up a show on offense. I just wish Davidson Flash played with a little bit more tempo to try to engage them, because as we saw, the George Mason game, 65-50. I do think Davidson can score here, but Max is also right, trying to check in on like Mike Jones, getting some guys back. But overall athletic ability, I think Richmond matches up extremely well with Davidson. Not sure about the 6 points. I think it's a little rich, as I said, but maybe going towards more of a team total here, because I do think Richmond is going to score some points here.
Okay, here's a team that's kicked me in the backside because I got their name wrong first time up. I won't do that again. You have to live and learn and not do your same mistake twice. So we're going to go Duquesne at 5.5 going into VCU, Donnie.
Yeah, 2 straight wins here for Duquesne, trying to turn the corner. But when we take a look at VCU, what are we going to get? Because we saw the 5-game losing streak for VCU. It seems like they get more injured as time goes on. And also now you pop up there with Durante Jenkins actually leaving the team and seeing, I don't know, maybe he's going to come back, maybe not. But this team is limping. Usually in a last home game for VCU, it should be a celebration, Siegel Center rocking. That's not the case right now. They're just trying to get right for conference tournament play. That's a dangerous spot for me to say, I want to back VCU at home. Probably would lean towards Duquesne in this one, but I don't have a straight edge.
Okay, Duquesne or nothing. VCU at home giving up 5.5, Max.
Yeah, VCU's definitely a different animal at home. We saw that against George Washington. They put their foot on their throat. I don't think they're going to be able to do that to Duquesne. Duquesne has been playing road games all year long, not having a natural home court. I don't think it really matters. They just want to play basketball. They want to score points. They want to win games. Listen, they had a little bit of a freaking bump in the road, but I think that they get back to their winning ways and continue this 2-game winning streak tonight. I look at taking the safe route and taking the points with Duquesne, but in my mind, they're winning this game, and I'll be looking to find a play in the second half live to get on them on the money line.
That's what I was going to say. Is the value not the money line at the beginning?
Yeah, but I need to see these games start off. I need to see what I'm getting from VCU before I go and tell people to get on this. Pre-flop, that's one thing for the spread and money line, but I'm not doing that right now. I'll say and give an official play on the show for Duquesne, but I'm going to be looking money line in game.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like that perfect spot that you love when all the popular money comes in on VCU because they're lazy and they're home favourites. But Duquesne, they're 5.5 at the moment. I think you could be getting 6, 6.5 come tip off, so maybe hang around. I don't think the 5.5 is going to be any lower than that.
Yeah, I think that's quite possible because we have seen teams vary in their play, whether it be on the home, whether it be at home or on the road. I think that with this VCU team, there definitely are question marks, and you are really taking a shot by going with Duquesne. But I got to go with the team that I've watched play, seen play more consistently, have the fundamental pieces already set in stone and a proper hierarchy. And I got to believe that they can go on the road because they want to win this game, I think, a little more than VCU.
Okay. VCU and Duquesne, we're going to go Duquesne money line, and also we're going to go Duquesne plus 5.5, but with the money line, he's going to just see how the game starts off now. Road favourites don't come much stronger than this one. Marquette giving up 4.5, 5 in a place as well, going into DePaul, Max.
Yeah, I plain and simply got to take the best scorer in the nation going into, let's be honest, the worst team in the Big East. They're not the worst team in college basketball. They're probably better than a lot of number ones in conferences that aren't in the Power 5. But in this matchup, this is a spot where we've seen Marquette be a little bit zigzaggy. I expect them to zag, and I expect Marcus Howard to be the reason why they do so. Kobe McEwen, please step up. Jace Johnson, please step up. If that can be the case tonight, I think that this Marquette team plays good team defense already. And DePaul, even if they get a good game from Paul Reed and Charlie Moore, I don't think it'll be enough. Marquette.
Yeah, Donnie, I think that Marquette are just dishing out worms to the crowd.
Yeah, they're in that danger zone for me here. Not because I don't think they're going to win the game, because I do think they're going to win it. But when you take a look at a road team and you try to isolate a team total, because Max is right. Marquette does. Petz will probably Marcus Howard down for, 30 points tonight? Everything matches up well. An ultra-efficient offense against a bad defense. A team that wants to shoot the three-pointers. I always talk about 47% of their gross shots in conference come from three-point range. Who's dead last in conference at saying, you know what? Go ahead and shoot that three-point shot. It's DePaul. And then also when you take a look at where you say, you know what? Do they want to get to the rim, being Marquette? Well, I mean, stingy DePaul down low, Marquette doesn't care about that. They're going to crush you from the three-point line. And also take a look, if you do get to the rack, DePaul is going to foul you. Marquette's decent at getting to the line and knocking down the free throws. Everything matches up for a perfect team total for Marquette. The only thing is sometimes when you see these numbers, as we talked about Syracuse, that 73.5 range, a little bit more palatable as opposed to going with a 77. You're going to need 80 points in this game probably to cover this team total. I do still think it gets there. Marquette is a great matchup on offense going against that DePaul defense.
Next game is an absolute darling at 2:30 in the morning when the Last Dance comes on, and when you wake up at 8:30, you have the fright of your life because Vanderbilt, they're getting 13.5. I've opposed them once this year, and they put up 99. Every other game, they've not turned up, and I'm still licking my wounds, Donnie. They're getting 13.5 going into Bama.
Yeah, last game they played South Carolina was really a track meet, 90-86. But also keep in mind they didn't end up covering that line for Alabama. I believe they were lined at 5 and 5.5 in that one. But also starting that game out, I believe Alabama had 1 point through 5 or 6 minutes into that game and still ended up 90. And oh yeah, John Petty, their best player, didn't even lace them up in that game. This team can hit from everywhere, and seeing some of the early indicators, doesn't look like Petty's going to be back for this game, possibly be back for the weekend, but also, more importantly, back for the SEC tournament run and try to make a run in the March Madness. You're going to get some tempo in this game, and I know, Flash, how much you do love Vanderbilt. They don't defend all that well anywhere, but you're talking about a pretty big number that we're going to have going up against Vanderbilt. We know Vanderbilt does have some scores, possibly to keep it close. How motivated is Alabama? And one of those times where you're looking and saying, hey, I do think they can score some points because they have some tempo. I'm always reluctant to try to jump on an over a team total when I know the best player is not going to play.
Yeah, Max, they've got decent players. They just don't seem to be a unit or a team. But 13.5, you've got to go with the road. I can't trust Bama to beat these by 13.5.
Listen, I love my Alabama football, but I do not have the same sentiment towards this basketball program. I agree Nate Oates has done a great job with his team with what he had in keeping the roster together. But the reality is, this is a team that I don't like to lay numbers like this with, even though I think that by my numbers are going to cover. I think that you miss the best of the line. I'm seeing 12s, 12.5s, and 13s across the board. When we open at 14, you're talking about some value there. I think that when you look at Vanderbilt, they have the propensity now to ugly up a game. What have we seen since Aaron Nesmith decided to leave the basketball team to go play football? Is that this team is not the same kind of offensive explosive team. There is definitely some talent there with Max Evans, Saban Lee, and Scottie Pippen Jr., but there's a reason why this total opened up at 162 down to 156. I personally think that Vanderbilt covers this game, but my number's like Alabama, so I'm staying off the side. And even at 156 or 155 and a half, I would still take the under in this game. So.
Okay, so you're looking at the under, even though the 6-point move to the under already. I'm going to move now. Max, Texas, plus 6.5 going into Oklahoma. Oklahoma have been looking top notch.
Yeah, this is a spot where I look at Oklahoma, but I don't like the number. I'd probably just pass on this game.
Okay, listen, I like that. If you've got nothing to say, move on. Donnie, Oklahoma, giving up 6.5, and they're the home favourite.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on this game as well. They didn't treat me. They treated me disrespectfully their last game out when I took Texas Tech going up against Oklahoma. I'll stay away from this game. Just way too much turmoil around Texas. Who's in, who's out, how they're going to play on a day-to-day night. We'll wait maybe in the tournament to try to get some value to go against them here.
All right, the gun's loaded. I'm firing another one at you now. It's West Virginia giving up 6. Road favourite. Going into Iowa State, Donnie.
Yeah, when you take a look at West Virginia, I mean, you like them at home, and then you just take a look, and you thought they might bounce back against Oklahoma, and they don't. Losers of 6 of 7 games. I don't think they're all that good. I mean, they play with a lot of heart and hustle, and yeah, they're supposed to be a really good team when they play in Morgantown, but it doesn't even seem like that's going to be the case. So I'm certainly not going to be on West Virginia heading onto the road. This is a defense in Iowa State that you should be able to expose. But if there's one team in conference play outside of, when you take a look at teams like Texas or whatnot, West Virginia can't expose anybody. So if you're looking at a bad defense from Iowa State, I almost throw that out and say, how is Iowa State going to go up against West Virginia's defense? As long as they don't turn the basketball over, which is key, which they don't do at an elite level, or should I say at a really poor level in conference play, I think they can pull this one out. It's Iowa State or nobody in this game. I can't stand West Virginia the way they play basketball.
Home dog Max getting 6. I fancy you're probably going to find a better angle on the total.
No. I don't want anything to do with this total. I'd look at this game as this line opened at 4.5. It's up to now 6.5. I'm seeing that at 2 of my books. I'm waiting for it to continue to rise, and I'm going to hit Iowa State when it hits its plateau. Simple
Are you having
that.
to play for that? Are you paying for that juice though at 6.5?
Yeah, you are minus 114.
Okay, so we'll stay at maybe at minus 105 at the 6.
Well, I'm not making a play on it officially at all right now. I'm waiting for that line to hit 7.5 or 8. It's going to go up 100%.
All right, well, let's move on to the mid-majors then, Maxie baby, because you love the mid-majors, as does Donnie. Donnie, you have a little sip of your Monster. Recharge, we'll pass the baton over. Bowling Green, plus 5, going into Kent State. For me, Kent State cover the 5, and they just move on. Max?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Wow.
So, Flash.
You're going with a road woofer?
Listen, let's be frank here. Bowling Green has not done you right when it comes to covering numbers. But Dylan Fry's back in the lineup. Dylan Fry's the point guard. Justin Turner's healthy. What do I expect from this team? To rebound from one of the most astounding, embarrassing losses of the season. Thank God it was on the road, because I would have literally slapped them with a freaking bag of bacon. And not microwave bacon. So this is a simple spot for me. I think that this is too many points. I think that Bowling Green can go bucket for bucket with Kent State. And I think that if Anthony Roberts doesn't play for Kent State tonight, that takes out one of your top weapons when it comes to your backcourt pieces. And more isolation for Antonio Williams is not going to do you good. It's not going to do you good against this Bowling Green defense. This is a team that's going to lock you down. They're going to frustrate you. They're going to get to the free throw line. They're going to make their free throws. And when you have game-breaking scorers like Justin Turner, not to mention Dominique Plowden, I'll take those 5 points. Give me Bowling Green all day.
Max, I know obviously we've got so many games, but Bowling Green, if they get behind early, have they got the ability to come back?
Yeah, I think that they have the ability to come back. We've seen it in MAC conference play already. It's just we didn't see it against Miami, Ohio. And if we just believe that this is a team that's consistently going to score 55 points, well, then you're smoking some good stuff and you should send some my way.
Yeah, I think you're smoking some good stuff, because I thought Kent State were good things, Donnie.
I would actually lean on Bowling Green as well, taking the points in this one. The MAC is so close, Flash, from top to bottom. Sometimes you get points, you try to find those outliers, and Max is right. What a clunker Bowling Green threw in their last basketball game. But this is a deep team going on the road, and some of these are just straight-up coin flips. So if you ask for me, there's not a huge advantage for Kent State being at home in this basketball game. I think Bowling Green can hang around, possibly win this game, but I'll lean on the points as well here.
Donnie, Miami, Ohio, getting 9 going into Buffalo. Buffalo's definitely been a friend of the show.
Yeah, look, I've always been a proponent of Buffalo, but sometimes when you take a look and say, you know what, that's kind of a lot of points for a team that's going to want to slow it down, play a little bit of defense here. 2 straight wins, Central Michigan and Bowling Green for Miami of Ohio. But also keep in mind, folks, both of those games were at home. When you take a look at their last couple road games, matter of fact, every single road game in conference play they lost. But it's a little bit too rich around number. Do I think Buffalo gets right and wins this basketball game? I certainly do. But the fact is, 2 straight losses for Buffalo, for Ohio, 80-69, and Akron, 86-73. Didn't play well in both of those games. I'm not going to lay that big number until I see Buffalo turn that corner. Buffalo might win this game, Flash, but I don't think they win it by margin. I'll lean on the other side and go with Miami of Ohio with the points here.
Okay, I thought you might have gone with Buffalo team total over. Max, where's your line on this one?
Yeah, I think that Donnie's on the right track there. Listen, Buffalo has a really attractive roster when you look at it personnel-wise, but it's about execution, and just the plain simple fact is, while they've been able to play some good defense, they have been susceptible to going into scoring droughts, falling behind early, and that's never a healthy thing for us to be putting our money on. So I agree with Donnie when it comes to the number, but the play I want to make is the under 150 in this game. Plain and simply, Miami, Ohio is an under team. Whether we look at the 130s, the 140s, the 150s, their games continuously go under in these total ranges, and I think that we're going to have that continue to fruition today. I think that Buffalo has to continue to play good defense. They just have to execute better on offense. I think that they win this game, but there is no value on a side taking Buffalo, and there's minimal value taking Miami, Ohio, in my opinion. I think the value is on the under. That's the play that I'm going to make. So put that in your bongs and light it up.
Go on then, Maxie, baby. Right, okay, Central Michigan +7 going into Ball State, Max.
Yeah, listen, with this Central Michigan team, they have the scoring. The problem is, can they stop somebody from scoring? I think that this number moving in favor of Central Michigan has given me pause. I did like Central Michigan at +8. Now I'm starting to just wonder, maybe I just wait, watch this line, track it. Ball State's hard to beat at home. I think that this is a team that has an inexperienced backcourt, but now they're experienced. They played a full season together without KJ Walton. So I lean towards Ball State, but nothing yet.
Okay, nothing yet. Donnie, nothing for you?
I mean, I don't know what happened here. I mean, the bottom dropped out on Central Michigan's team, but I also see getting some love from some of the bettors out there, which I agree with. The line's going to open up at 8. It dropped to around 6.5 now. The 8 would have been wonderful. The 6.5 brings in that danger zone with fouling at the end of the game, but still it being in the MAC, I still have a little bit of love from Central Michigan, even though I know Ball State plays extremely well on defense. Central Michigan can score on anybody. I would still take the points in this game, the 6.5, but I wouldn't be surprised if I took this game and was screaming by midway through the second half saying, what the hell is wrong with Central Michigan again? Why did I take this game? But it's too many points for me to pass up, even still at the 6.5 at this point.
Okay, Donnie, we've got East versus West in Michigan, with Eastern giving up 1.5 on the road.
Look, Eastern Michigan, I mean, what's not to say or what's not to like about this squad? You get the amoeba-type defense. You're finally getting some scoring on the offense at the end. And also when you take a look at the overall whole of the conference, losing to Ball State, losing to Northern Illinois, but bouncing back again against that ridiculousness that is, obviously, Central Michigan and what they've been providing us over the last 6 to 7 games. But take a look at Western Michigan in the season, had that long losing streak, bounced back with a nice win over Northern Illinois. I'm going to stick with it. If it's not broken, I'm going to take the team that comes out and can really frustrate you on defense, find their way to the free throw line, and score down low, which you can give some problems out to this team that they're going to play in this game, obviously being Western Michigan. But Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, a huge rivalry. I don't really think that's a huge rivalry to me, but I do lean on Eastern Michigan in this game. Give me the frustrating defense. I'll lean on that all day long. I think they're playing better basketball. I think they win this game here.
Yoda, giving up 1.5 points on the road. Is that good enough for you?
Yabba dabba do. Donnie hit it on the frickin' knob.
Yes,
right there.
That's why he's here.
Eastern Michigan is scoring points. I didn't know that they could do that. Well, they can. 46% from the field last 5 games. They're getting to the free throw line. They're playing the same kind of defense where they're forcing steals, forcing turnovers. I think that continues tonight. I trust the team that can go in, win on the road, and win at home. That's Eastern Michigan. Their fundamentals are better. I do like the combination of Mike Flowers and Brandon Johnson for Western Michigan, but I just don't think that it's going to be enough, even at home tonight. So, yeah, I'm down with Eastern Michigan. Let's make that official.
Okay, Max. Arkansas State getting 3.5 going into Georgia Southern. For me, I don't really like either of these two.
Yeah, with Arkansas State, definitely this team has been able to benefit your bankroll early on in the season on the road, later on in the season at home. When I look at this number, which is actually at 7.5, Flash, opening up at 8.5.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm just like, I got to look at Arkansas State in this spot. I have to look at Arkansas State. Georgia Southern, yes, they just had a really good win against Georgia State in a rivalry game. I think that there is maybe an emotional letdown. I'm not saying that they lose the game, but I do think that, like Donnie said, when you get into this 6.5 to 8 point range, you start to have to rely on fouling. And Quan Jackson, Isaiah Crawley are guys are going to shoot foul shots for this Georgia Southern team, and I just don't trust them. I think that this has backdoor covering all around it. So 7.5 with Arkansas State.
So you've got that at 7.5. Arkansas State, 7.5. You know what my problem was, Donnie? I was looking at Arkansas.
Look, no. You were looking at the greatest team that's ever been assembled in college basketball, Arkansas Little Rock spread. So we're going to get to that in just a little bit here. But looking at this game, 8 straight losses for Arkansas State. But again, sometimes when you're handicappers, if you're just looking and say, I can't back a team that lost 8 straight games, they're going nowhere. But look at what they've done on the road this year. Starting on January 18th versus Coastal Carolina on the road, they won 80-75. Then they went to Troy on the road, Flash, and won 78-62. Their next road game, Little Rock, 90-87. UT Arlington, they dropped that one by 10, but then they come back and lose to Max's Texas State squad, 69-64. The last game they played with Louisiana on the road as well, 77-74. This team is losing, but this team is extremely competitive on the road. That's too many points. It opened up at 8, as Max said, 8.5 even at outlets. Now down to 7.5. Do your shopping around because DraftKings in New Jersey still showing an 8. Give me the 8 points. How about this? 8 straight losses plus 8 points. Give me them tonight.
Okay, you take the 7.5, take the 8 now. Got to come to you first, Donnie, because I know that you're number one cheerleader. You make sure you shave them legs. Little Rock plus 3.5 going into Georgia State.
Yeah, I don't know what the price is here for March Madness or getting to the Final Four, but if you're not loading up a future on Little Rock to cut down the nets in Atlanta, there's really something wrong with you. 3 straight victories. They've been so kind to me. I feel like getting on a plane, flying to Little Rock, and buying courtside seats just to thank the boys and to thank the crowd of supporting me and my family and helping me pay my mortgage time and time again. When I'm down in the dumps, Flash, you know where we go? We go down to Little Rock and we pick up an easy victory. Might even be getting shut down on my books from both of these angles. But tonight, not the night to back Little Rock. How about that? Usually I come on here, just wave the flag and say, no matter what happens, you take Little Rock. They just wrapped up the conference championship on Saturday, celebrated. Now they go on the road against a team that's going to get into a little bit of up-tempo. I actually think Little Rock hangs around this ballgame. Of course, I mean, we're taking a look. Georgia State is actually the favorite, but that 154.5 is certainly a number I want to look at. But more importantly, how about this? Look, money is money. I love Little Rock, but I actually think the team total is better on the opposite side with Georgia State than I do with Arkansas Little Rock tonight. The team total over is the way I'm going with Georgia State tonight. I think they get the victory, a little bit of celebration, setting themselves up, obviously, for going into March Madness Conference Tournament play. But I do think Georgia State will score points on Arkansas Little Rock tonight. That's the way I want to go here.
Max, Little Rock, leave him alone tonight.
No.
Wow, he's going to go for your Little Rock, Donnie.
Absolutely not. No. Arkansas Little Rock's winning this game outright. Money line. No problem. This is a team that when you have Marquise Noel and you have Kamani Johnson, everything's going to be okay. It's Hakuna Matata. And it's going to be Hakuna Matata tonight on the road against Georgia State. Little Rock's taking care of business. So, yeah, I'm down with it.
I love that. I'm putting it in. You keep talking. I'm just going to type Little Rock money line. Just forget it. And if you want to just take the plus 3.5, you can do that as well. Okay, Cleveland State getting 7.5. Going into Oakland. I love it when it's short and sweet, Max.
Yeah, listen, the plain simple fact is this Oakland team was missing something. It was like, what is it? Was it chicken tenders and honey? Was it an appointment with a local pipe fitter? No, it was Rashad Williams and the 20 points per game he's been able to contribute since he's been able to get eligibility for this Oakland team. Xavier Hill-Mays is back to being Xavier Hill-Mays. This is what happened when Javen Cumberland decided to bolt and go over Cincinnati. They were missing a key scorer. Now they have the key scorer. I think that they take care of business. Listen, this is a conference tournament game. With Oakland, this is a team that has good size in Brad Becting. They have good size in, Daniel Oladipo. Daniel Oladipo, he's an X factor for this team. I think that Cleveland State has played well against Oakland, but no, I'm not taking them in this conference tournament. Rashad Williams is the difference tonight. Oakland covers.
Okay, I mean, Cleveland State plus 7.5 going into Oakland. Oakland cover. Donnie.
No, look, Oakland's the only way to go. Cleveland State, look, and us getting to the depths of some of these conferences, and if you're a DJ, you hit that horn now, like, wah, 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 wah. Now that we're at finally conference tournament play. Cleveland State has burned me in so many ways. I've taken them on team totals. I've taken the games on overs. I've taken the games on unders. And I've even taken the games that burned me when all of a sudden they just had some whack starting lineup where guys just aren't showing up that started the previous game playing 30 to 35 minutes. It's a complete stay away from me because the enigma of what Cleveland State's offense is anti-analytics, if that would make sense. In conference play, they're finally up to 20% of the shots they take from three-point range. 2 weeks ago, they were around 15. Can you imagine that? You might as well take the three-point stripe out off when they go on offense. They lean on going down low, which sometimes you say, you know what, in the conference tournament play, maybe that's not a bad thing when you're playing most of the games neutral court or even on the road. It's a complete stay away from me. I can't stand Cleveland State. They burned me way too many times. So if I jump in the bet on Oakland tonight, Cleveland State probably ends up with 75 points and an outright winner. No play from me.
Okay, we're going to have a little break now because on March the 10th, we loved the poker tournament that we had last month, and we've got another one coming up. Can you take it away, Lee?
What's going on, guys? Lee Martin here to present to you UWager's third annual $1,000 Bounty Free Roll Poker Showdown with SBR. The poker tournament will be held on March 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and will be broadcasted live over here at SBR headquarters. If you do not want to play in the tournament, but want to just sit back and watch the event from the comfort of your own home, then you can watch all the hot action on SBR's YouTube channel at SBR Sports. If you do want to participate in the tournament and want a chance to win some extra cash for March Madness, then simply sign up for the tournament via sbrvideo.com/poker. You must have an active UWager account in order to participate in the tournament. So, if you do not have a UWager account, do not worry. Signing up is very simple, and we have everything you need in order to sign up. Just head over to sbrvideo.com/poker. Click Join Now, fill out the information boxes, then wait until March 10th to register into the event. Registration for the tournament will begin at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 hours before the event commences. Registration is free, with a $1,000 prize that is up for grabs, and that is not the only prize to offer. There will be a $100 bounty on the heads of each of our 6 key personalities. The SBR personalities participating in the tournament are yours truly, everyone's favorite man Flash, Donnie RightSide, and Sports Keg CEO Jason Paglia. There will also be 2 members of the UWager family joining us in-house at SBR headquarters. So take your chances by joining us March 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and try to knock us all out to win $1,000 or more. Again, if you want to participate in the UWager $1,000 Bounty Free Roll Poker Tournament with SBR, then head over to sbrvideo.com/poker and join now. Registration to the tournament is free, so why not join in on all the action and play for a chance to win $1,000 or more? Be sure to stay tuned to SBR's Twitter page at SBR Sports Picks for all updates regarding the event. Also, be sure to subscribe to SBR's YouTube channel at SBR Sports to receive all content updates. It's going to be a very fun and intense night on March 10th, so I hope to see you guys then.
Okie Milwaukee, Youngstown State. Tournament game in the horizon, and the visitors, Milwaukee, are getting 6, Donnie.
Yeah, you know what? Just a quick comment on that poker tournament. It's the $100 is free money because I don't play poker at all, and my only strategy in these tournaments is just continue to hope that I'm not the first one out in the entire tournament. So if you're not joining up and getting in that poker tournament, you're crazy because I'm the easiest 100. I don't know, maybe Max has a nice little story on that, but I'm an easy $100 date here, Max. So back to this Milwaukee Youngstown State game. Youngstown State are nobody for me, but I do think we get some points in this game. Both of these teams, especially from Milwaukee side, you can attack from the three-point line. The interesting part is Youngstown State likes to chase you off of the three-point line, even though they don't defend it all that well. Points for me in this game. I do lean on Youngstown State being the home team in this one. We'll see how it turns out.
Okay, Max, how's your poker?
My poker's very bad because obviously I'm a very emotional person. So hiding my emotions is something that just doesn't work when it comes to playing poker. When I look at this Youngstown State game, I'm surprised that this line opened up at 7, is already down to 4.5, just based on reverse line movement. I have to look at 4.5 with Youngstown State as a side perspective. But there's something about this game and this personnel matchups when it comes to Tashawn Lucas versus Darius Quisenberry that is very interesting to me. I think that if you can bet some player props, I think that both these guys are going to be able to go over because both of them get to the free throw line, both of them penetrate the bucket, and both of them can hit a three-point shot from the top of the circle. From a total perspective, I think I'm leaning the other way. I'm leaning the other way when it comes to the total from Donnie. When I look at this Youngstown State team, yes, they can be effective offensively, but they can also go through 3 or 4 minute scoring droughts where they cough up leads and they don't continue to do what was working and got them that lead in the first place. I think that comes down to coaching, and in a tournament game, it does give me a little bit of pause, but I do believe that Horizon League is at campus sites. So I think that in this first round, it's a good spot to take Youngstown State, and I also think that the under would probably be my lean and the way that I'm going to end up playing it, but I'm not there yet.
Okay, I'm going to stay with you, though, because we're going to go with Texas Arlington versus Troy. And we've got road favourites giving up 5.5.
Yeah, listen, the men of Troy are not the men of Troy from the movies. Let's be quite frank about that. These guys are pussycats. They have bended at the knee and taken it. The fact is, Darian Adams is not in the lineup for this team. Desmond Williams is just not doing it, and I haven't seen Zay Williams. So you're talking about the offensive catalyst for this team for Troy not being in the lineup. I don't know. This is just not a spot where I'm going to be looking at them. I think that you definitely have seen guys like what's his name? Fucking
LeBron James.
I can't remember. It doesn't matter. The fact is, Troy is unbettable right now. They're losing tickets. They're losing your money, whether it be at home and whether it be on road. I'm looking for UTA to have a better game. I expect them to rebound, and I expect them to keep this game under. So that's the way that I look at this game.
Okay, we're not fancying Troy here, Donnie. What about the horse?
No, UT Arlington looks to be the better side here in this one. I got to say, we were all invested in the last UT Arlington game going against them, cheering on Texas State. Even though the refs did try to take it away from them, we were still able to cash that ticket. But I do think when styles make fights, this is a really good one here. When you take a look at Troy on offense, not a really good offense to begin with as is, but this is a team that shoots more three-pointers than any team in conference. But what happens on the opposite side with UT Arlington? The number one team in conference play at defending the three-point shot, and also the number one team in conference play. It's saying, you know what? We're not even going to let you take that three-point shot. So that's going to factor in well. If UT Arlington can knock down some three-point shots, they should be able to get to the free throw line. Also shooting 77% good for number 2 in the conference. I don't really like to lay like that 4.5 to 5.5 or even more on the road, but I think UT Arlington by far is the better team to Troy, and I do think their matchup is extremely exciting here, Flash. We're going to go with the Road Warriors, UT Arlington, to take down Troy and cover.
Yeah, but this is one game where I don't fancy you're taking them road woofers, Donnie. Ohio getting 8.5 going into Akron. Akron, they love a total.
Yeah, Akron, they love a total, and they also love to shoot from three-point range. I got to tell you, over the past couple of years, one of the harder teams for me to actually get behind and get on or even try to figure out what they do well is Ohio. they can run with tempo. They can slow it down. They show up and hit three-pointers. They have a point guard that can get to the rack. But when you take a look at Akron, the one thing that only matters if they can knock down three-point shots. The three-point shot has actually come down a little bit as the season has progressed over MAC play, shooting in that 40% range now in the higher 30% range. If their three ball is going down, they're certainly going to be active. I'm going to lean on Akron in this game. I think against Ohio, they can knock those shots down. But I got to tell you, from being in the past, I don't get a great read on Ohio from a game-to-game situation. It's a pass for me.
No read on Ohio, Max. But what about Akron? They love a total, and giving up 8.5, is it too much?
Yeah, it's down to 7.5 in most books that I shop at. Plain and simply, this is an Ohio team that has matchup advantages versus Akron, specifically when it comes to the point guard position. Jason Preston's going to have a size advantage over Lauren Christian Jackson that's hard to ignore because it's going to be like 5 or 6 inches. I think that with Lauren Christian Jackson, we've seen him really try and take a lot more of the offensive load on the last 5 games. We've seen the three-point shooting really suffer because of that. I think that when it comes to this Ohio team, they just match up really well. I expect the same thing to happen as it did the first game, but losing a point of value with a road dog in a situation where Akron probably took them a little lightly and they got burned, I'm not going to make it official.
Okay, I'll stay with you, Max. I mean, I do like the over in that game as well, though. Okay, Max, IUPUI getting 8.5 going into UIC.
Yeah, I'm already on IUPUI. Plain and simply, this is a team with Marcus Burke, Elijah Goss, and Jalen Minute that are just going to be able to score the basketball. I think that this being the third time out against this UIC team, it is hard to beat teams 3 times in a row, and it's hard to beat teams by 9 points. I got the +9. I'm happy with my number. Plain and simply, IUPUI doesn't win this game, but they don't lose by more than 9.
No, it's a tournament game, though, Donnie, so you're expecting it to be tight and tense.
Yeah, as the old adage goes, I think everybody can remember this. You just don't walk into the Credit Union 1 Arena in Chicago and pull out an easy victory that IUPUI is going to have to do tonight. I think Max is right, though. It's a little bit too rich for my blood in this game because IUPUI is going to force tempo. They're going to try to get extra possessions in this one to try to keep touch with Illinois-Chicago. But I do think Illinois-Chicago will be able to score, and that tempo is going to help them score as well. They like to shoot the three-point shot, good for 36%. Only 10 teams in this conference in the Horizon. They are dead last at defending it, IUPUI. I think we'll get some points in this game as opposed to staying with the side, taking the points or laying the points. I think we get points in this game and more points from Illinois-Chicago. I would lean on a team total from that respect here, Flash.
Okay. Coastal Carolina just getting the 1.5 going into Louisiana. It's a pick 'em, Donnie.
Yeah, Coastal Carolina, one of the teams that plays with tempo, one of the top 25 teams in the country at moving the basketball down court, have played a little bit scattershot, beating Troy 90-60, then dropping a game to South Alabama, and then also on the road beating App State 84-77. When you take a look at Louisiana coming in, sort of the same mindscape: win one, lose one, win one, lose one. Coming down to the last game, I do think we'll get tempo in this game. I do think Coastal Carolina is going to score the basketball, as opposed to looking from a side. I think we get points in this game because not only is Coastal Carolina fast on tempo on offense, Flash, they're going to try to turn you over on defense, and they force a quick shot. Extra possessions equals points. I like the over in this one.
Over is the shout, Max.
Yeah, I like the over also, and plain and simply, Louisiana has had trouble closing out games. They've had trouble limiting offenses from doing exactly whatever they want, and regardless of whether they've been able to shoot the basketball, it hasn't made a difference. So I think that you definitely have to do a good job of protecting the three-point line and chasing Coastal Carolina's shooters off there, like Devontae Jones and Tyrell Gums-Frater. But in the end, I think that I think that Coastal Carolina is going in and winning this game. So with my ULL hat, I'll be like, boom, let's go Coastal Carolina.
What number have we got on the total, though? Because we're going to go over, so what is the number?
Oh, well, it's at 159.5 across the board right now.
Wow, that's a
I'm seeing a 160 pop up, so.
So we've got Coastal Carolina wins, plus 1.5, probably around the 1. Over 159.5, so are we going team total over on Coastal Carolina as well?
Yeah, why not? Throw it in there.
Okay, let's throw it in there. Let's go all reckless. We won't go reckless in this game because this is Texas State, road favourite, -1, going into South Alabama, Max. And you love Alabama, anything to do with Alabama. And when you've eaten this, or when you finish with this, you can have a little bit of your apple Danish.
Well, yeah, no, I love my apple danishes, and I'm always looking for a moment to eat some of it. But when it comes to this game, this is a real tough game because Texas State's coming off a really emotional, tough game against a rival in UT Arlington. Now you're leaving the state, you're going over to South Alabama. You're going up against the South Alabama team that I thought at the beginning of the season was going to be the creme brulee of this conference. Well, it hasn't worked out, but you know what? These sons of bitches are on a 7-game winning streak. They've been doing it on the road. They've been doing it at home. They've been cashing tickets. We're talking about a coin flip, one bucket number. So it's really just about who's winning this game. I think that with South Alabama, the problem with them is ball movement. We've seen this team really struggle to facilitate offense. There's a lot of isolation. There's a lot of basic plays that are being run that if you have a capable defense like Texas State, you have the opportunity to shut them down. I got to just go with the home team here. I got to go with South Alabama. Whenever they seem to get disrespected by the line, I always think that they come out a little stronger. I think as long as they do a good job of not getting destroyed on the offensive glass and keeping the ball and not turning it over, well, I think they're going to win this game at home. And they're going to make my Bobcats eat some crow.
So, listen, this is where you need to have that little bit of experience and just give people a little bit of your knowledge. Is the +1 even a market? Just go straight money line?
Yeah, listen, if you want to negate juice and that's what's going to keep your profit in your pocket over the long term, that's the way to play it. But I'm a volume player, so I operate under a different philosophy and ideology than most cappers do. I want to win 11 out of 20 bets, and that, with my volume, is going to be able to produce my profit over the long term. So I operate differently, so you have to take your strategy and your ideology and adapt it to what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, I'm still wondering what you're trying to tell me, Donnie. That there was me listening to a Chinese political broadcast.
By the way, but even if it was Chinese political, I do speak a little bit of Mandarin, and I could read Max's lips, and he is right on this one. Look, we love Texas State. They get busy. They don't rely on the three-point shot. They get to the rim. They also have an elite scorer who, when you need a bucket, can go get you one. But here's what we like to look at South Alabama. I remember watching the game back, and this was January 25th. I did get a victory, and of course, I got a victory with Little Rock. I mean, who else? But I was so impressed with watching this team for a full 40 minutes. You're talking about a super athletic starting five, and oh, yeah, this is a home game, the last home game in a team that starts 5 seniors on the court. They're going to be ready for this game, and also you can talk about that 3 overtime game that you head back on the road. That's sort of going to play into this. But when you take a look at an athletic team that you're going to run up against, the one thing that you give you a little bit of pause if you're saying, you know what, if I'm going to back South Alabama, maybe I don't want to go against them with a team that's going to use a lot of tempo to try to get them out of what they do. That's not what Texas State does. This is going to be a hard-fought defensive battle. I'm going to lean on the 5 seniors at home with their win streak. And again, when they lose, it's not by that much. Lost to Arkansas State, 75-71. Lost to Little Rock, 73-71. Lost to Georgia State, 76-73. Then ripping off those 7 straight victories. Max is on the right side of this one here. I'll take the home dog at home on the money line to pull out this victory. As much as I like Texas State, I think it's a great spot for South Alabama here. Yeah,
I've put it down as player today. Money line, not really interested in your +1. I don't think there's any point in it. And sorry about everyone in the chat. 262 watching, 54 thumbs up. Appreciate everything like that. If you haven't subscribed, then subscribe and we'll let you know when everything's going on. We'll give you notifications so you never miss Max and Donnie in the morning. Toledo getting 1.5 going into Northern Illinois. Again, Donnie, it looks like a flip 'em.
Grimy Northern Illinois. I think they match up pretty well here. I mean, Toledo comes in with a pretty good efficient offense here in the Mid-American Conference, shooting 31%, almost 38% from three-point range. Number 1 in the conference now, overtaking Akron. but Northern Illinois is really athletic and number 1 in the conference at defending three. They're going to let you shoot the three-point shot, so they're going to defend it and try to chase you off it. But if you're not going to make those shots, I don't know if they can go in and beat Northern Illinois, because we take a look at Northern Illinois on offense, not the best offensive team, but some of the things they do well, not relying on the three-point shot, driving to the rim, getting to the free throw line should be an interesting spot tonight. I like Northern Illinois. They're grimy. They'll be in this game, and I'll take them here.
Okay, home dog for us, Max. Have you got anything you want to sprinkle on this?
Listen, I think that Toledo's done a good job of covering on the road as of recently. I think that they do have the opportunity to get revenge here on the road versus Northern Illinois. I want to know what's going on with Eugene German, coming off the bench, only playing 20 minutes last game out, and I believe that they lost the game to Western Michigan. So that's a spot where I want to get a little bit more information, but I'd be looking towards the under once again with this team. This is a series that has gone under. These are two teams that go under, and I think Northern Illinois, if they're going to win this game, well, I don't think that they want to get this game into the high 60s or low 70s.
So you're going under. What number have you got for me?
Well, I don't have a play on the under yet, so let's
what sort of mark are you looking for?
Pardon me?
What sort of number are you looking for if you do go with the under?
Well, I'm looking for anything that is between 131 and 134.
There you go.
That's the ideal number for me. If
Okay,
I can't
that's
get
decent.
it, then I'm probably just going to pass.
Well, that's what it's all about. This is what this show's all about. Early morning, digging up the worms. Listen, you're not going to eat them all. You just got to make sure you pick the tastiest ones and sling them in the pan. Appalachian State, road favourite, giving up 2 going into Monroe. Max.
Yeah, I think that with App State, Isaac Johnson, Hunter Sirkat, and of course Justin Forrest, that's a key catalyst to this offensive attack. I think that Louisiana Monroe's done a good job of adapting offensively without J.D. Williams, and they are much tougher at home. It's a spot where I look at App State, but it's not a confident play. It's going to be a play on my board, but definitely App State. Make it official. Got to take the game-breaking scorer, Justin Forrest, and got to hope that they can shut down Louisiana Monroe and not get shut down by them.
Okay, Donnie, we're happy with App State. We're going to stick it with South Alabama, Michigan State, and Iowa.
What was that?
That's all right. I was just putting my teams together for like a parlay or player of the days or officials, and we're going with App State giving up 2 going into Monroe.
Yeah, no, I was about to go in on like App State, Louisiana Monroe, and I heard like 4 different teams. Like, man, I must have really missed this game or been awful.
Yeah,
this
you
one.
were
But the way I'm
sleeping,
looking
old
at
man.
this,
I saw you. You was like.
I was like, what kind of worms are we getting here? So Pinnacle opens up at 130 offshore. It's now up to 132.5. Chris actually opened up offshore at 126.5 at the opening. I don't know how many people were able to actually actively get that, but they're at 131. I actually lean towards the under in this one. You're looking at 2 teams that not ultra efficient on offense. They're going to look to slow it down. 2 teams that don't really foul all that much. And again, 2 free throw shooting teams in conference almost last. One at 69%, the other one at 69.5%. I'll lean towards the under 31 in this game, but I don't have much that we can really feast on or throw any worms into.
Okay, Stephen F. Austin giving up 1.5 on the road going into Abilene Christian. Max?
Yeah, this is a spot where I think that Stephen F. Austin's able to do what they were able to do in the first game. I think that with Peyton Ricks, definitely you have a good point guard. And Joe Pleasant definitely has some question marks with his availability for Abilene Christian tonight. I just simply think that Stephen F. Austin's tournament quality, there's a reason why they were able to beat Duke. They're going to beat Abilene Christian just like they did at home. I look for Kevon Harrison, John Como, and Greg Kensmill to run the show, take care of it on the glass, take care of it on the scoring, and make sure that they stay out of foul trouble, stay on the floor. Stephen F. Austin, let's go.
Okay, let's go into the tourneys. Here we go, and I'm going to start with you, Max. We've got North Alabama getting 1.5 into Stetson. How are we looking in this? I think it's the Atlantic Sun. So the home teams are playing at home until the semi-finals. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. So this is a simple spot for me. This is a simple spot for me, Flash. Rob Perry, freshman of the year in the A-Sun. Newcomer of the year in the A-Sun. And they're going to get a tournament win, those young bucks. Listen, I got a lot of love for North Alabama and Emmanuel Littles and frickin' Jamari Blackman, but this is a team that just doesn't match up against the defense that they're going to go up against in Stetson. Stetson's going to be able to lock you down on the perimeter, stop you from getting good looks at the three-point range, and as long as they just don't kill themselves at the free throw line late, this is a number that they can cover. We're talking about a bucket, we're talking about a coin flip type of spread, and when it comes to head-to-head, listen, they've only played once. I still think that Stetson, they played twice. I think that Stetson is going to be able to continue to do what they did. They were able to beat them at North Alabama's game. They were able to beat them at their game. I don't see why Stetson doesn't beat them for a third time. This is a situation where I think that there's value on the home team.
Yeah, I think a lot of these home teams are going to bring it home. And just giving up 1.5, yeah, I've got to be with you. Donnie, are you with Stetson as well?
Yeah, might as well lean on the home team this one. Coin flip for me, but I'm not going to give anything official or any leans on this one.
Okay, well, let's go into the next one, Donnie, because we've got NGIT going into Liberty. NGIT getting a massive 16.5. The way I like this is team total under for the visitors.
Yeah, Liberty's got to be kind of angry in this game, right? Dropping their last game, not looking too effective, but coming in with the number 1 defense in conference, number 2 overall efficient offense. Maybe a first half look nice and angry, ratchet up that defense, can certainly put them to bed. That's a high number, especially when you're looking at the end of the game. And also, keep in mind, once again, you're now in the conference tournament play. Yes, in this conference, every game is going to be at home. But do you really need to hit the gas pedal in the last 5 minutes when you're up 10, 14, 16 points to say, we want to make a statement and win by 25? Survive in advance time. I'm not going to be interested in laying these huge numbers unless that number is probably in the first half, because both teams will play a clean first half. We're not benching guys. We're not up 32 points and putting guys on the bench. First half is where this game is going to be won. I think Liberty is going to be angry and up at least double digits at the half here for us.
Yeah, I think Liberty just boa constrictor, squeeze the life out of NJIT. Max?
As someone that watches both these teams quite closely, I'll say this. Zach Cooks is a very impressive guard for NGIT. You have to be able to shut him down, and Liberty's been able to do that. They've been able to limit his looks at the three-point line, force him to try and penetrate the bucket and get to the rim, and that's resulted in offensive charges and turnovers. That is Zach Cook's Achilles heel, is turnovers. He is just prone to turn the ball over, and that's going to kill you. I look at this game a little bit differently. I think that we've seen NGIT improve their offensive output in each game that they played so far this season, and I think that they continue to do so. I think this game goes over. I bet over 122. I took NGIT plus 16.5 also. I think that this is backdoor coverability. This is, like Donnie said, get it done and get the fuck out of there. I think that when it comes to NGIT, I don't trust the supporting cast of Santonio Brinson and Shaquille Gibbs. And with Suleiman Diakate, great rebounder, but I don't think that he's going to be able to have any kind of advantage versus Kyle Rode and Scotty James. So I think that they have the ability to backdoor cover this game, but that's just because Liberty's not going to give a shit.
Yeah, and especially giving up 16.5 points. But yeah, I think that the home advantage is absolutely massive, and no more so in this game, because I think here's the value to win the ASUN tournament. Jacksonville at +9 going into the red-hot North Florida, Max.
Yeah, I took Jacksonville plus 9.5 at this game. I think that with David Bell, you have a dominant big man that can be efficient, that you can operate the offense and run it through. Listen, this is a team in North Florida that wants to chase you off the three-point line and make you shoot freaking jump shots inside the perimeter. I don't know how that's going to work against Jacksonville in this matchup. I think that this is a situation where North Florida is going to be able to win the game. I just think that Jacksonville has the opportunity with Amani Santos to be able to backdoor cover it. So I look at Jacksonville plus 9.5, and I look at the over 143, because what have we seen from Jacksonville? They've been able to score and keep up. It's just a matter of, is North Florida going to want to run tempo? And from what I've watched recently, they're going to want to. So over in Jacksonville. Okay.
Donnie, I've got North Florida being the closest thing to beating Liberty in the final of this conference. But Jacksonville plus 9, some are saying it's only plus 8 now.
North Florida does everything well that you need. And even when you take a look at metrics, like on defense, they don't foul. Max is right. They chase you off the three-point line, which is obviously key to analytics, knocking down your three-point shots, and you flip it over their offense. Extremely effective on offense. Don't turn the basketball over. Shoot flames from three. Shoot 55% from inside the arc. And, shoot 77% from the free throw line. That is really hard to knock off because if one thing isn't working, you can rely on 5 other things. But Max brings up a good point with David Bell. The way you beat this team is pound it down low. Now, the interesting part here is, something we usually focus on like full game. I actually think there might be a little bit more value first half, and on the first half over 67.5. Both of these teams, Max is right, is going to want tempo in this game. I think you get a clean first half, and I even would like it more if somehow David Bell even gets into foul trouble in the first half to open up the lanes for North Florida getting to the rim. I think we get some points early in this game. I even think North Florida can be up by 5 points. I would like to see that drop to 4.5 or maybe in that 4 range, but I feel more confident on a total in the first half than I do for the full game. I like the over 67.5. I think the tempo comes. I think the threes rain down, and I think we get some points.
67.5, and you're going with points. Okay, I think that all 4 of these home court advantages. Lipscomb play host to Florida, Gulf Coast, and Florida get 6.5. Max.
Yeah, this is a spot where I think that you got to take the team on the rise with Lipscomb. We've seen KJ Johnson and Hassan Asadullah really elevate their play, and they're only freshmen and sophomore respectively. I think that with Michael Buckland and Andrew Fleming, you have some experienced guard play that goes up against a Florida Gulf Coast team that's just very inconsistent. I think that even with the hot shooting and shot making of Caleb Cato, I just don't think that it's going to be enough. I got to look at Lipscomb at home. I got to look towards Lipscomb being able to dominate defensively and really frustrate Florida Gulf Coast. And I think that Florida Gulf Coast is going to be going to a certain valley and eating a certain kind of cold soup. So get the hell out of here. Give me Lipscomb -7 under 134.
Okay, -7. It was -6.5, so it's moving in the home team's favour. Donnie.
Yeah, but Flash, I bet games when the lines come out. So if lines are fluctuating, listen,
of course they're going to fluctuate.
I have to go with the punches.
Yeah, listen, we'll go with you. You say -7, it's -7, -6.5. There's not a lot in it. You get a push or you get a win. But everyone's gone for the home team so far. Put all 4 of them together in a parlay. Are you going to go with the home team as well, Donnie?
No, I'm going to look actually going a little bit opposite of Max and look towards the over in this game, because when I look at both of these teams, do you get an ultra tempo? Not really, but Lipscomb has been able to show points scoring at home. But also these two teams match up extremely well with each other. When you take a look at Florida Gulf Coast shooting about 34% from three-point range, Lipscomb, one of the worst teams in conference at defending the three-point shot at about 37%. But also styles make fights here. They want to shoot volume, 40% from three-point range. If we look at Lipscomb's defense, they'll let you shoot about 38% of your shots from three-point range in conference play. And going down low, 52.5% of their total points come from inside the arc. That's almost an identical match, 51% here from Lipscomb on defense. And the same thing when we flip it over, look at Lipscomb on offense, a very efficient offense, shooting 37% in conference play, I believe only behind North Florida for the top stake in shooting three-point range. But also when you take a look at Florida Gulf Coast, don't defend the three all that well, allowing 36% from three-point range. I think we get some points in this game, and you don't need a whole hell of a lot. Looking at 133 at most outlets, I think we can get there in that one.
Okay, over the total 133. Lipscomb giving up 6.5 or the 7. Okay, Presbyterian travelling to Charleston Southern, Donnie, and the visitors are getting 4.5.
Yeah, the Blue Hose going on the road here, and not a lot of defense probably expected to be played. I wish there was a little bit more tempo in this game, and I wish Presbyterian didn't turn the basketball over so much. But, hey, you got to make what you can make in this game. Presbyterian looks to get to the free throw line, the best in conference play at getting to the line. The only problem is Charleston Southern, the best at trying not to foul you and allow you to get to the free throw line. I would lean on Charleston Southern in this spot. I don't have much other than Presbyterian. Not the greatest road team, but I don't have much on this game overall here.
Have you got much on this, Max?
Yeah, obviously I do.
Well, have you had any of your Apple Danish yet?
Pardon?
Have you had any of your Apple Danish?
I've had a couple bites, but I'm not going.
Well, it's not that big. A couple of bites, it should be gone. Surely we've been nibbling it.
You'll hear me chewing. You'll hear me chewing in my nose whistle. Come on, Flash.
Well, that's like a one-man orchestra. We don't mind that.
Getting back to this game, Flash, I'm all about the over in this game. When I saw it drop down to 137, it provided enough value based on my numbers to warrant playing the over. The number still is out there, depending if you have the right book, and that's the way that I'm looking at this game. I think that both these teams can be responsible with the basketball. Both can get to the free throw line. Both can make some three-point shots, and both can give what the other defense is giving. When you look at Charleston Southern, they're allowing teams to shoot 50% from the field, and Presbyterian's not doing much better at 46%. I think that there's bucks to be scored. I think that this total is just a little too low. So give me the over 137.
Okay, we're happy to go over 137. Then, Donnie, I'm going to start with you. Campbell getting 1.5 going into UNC Asheville. UNC Asheville, they've done me proud a couple of times.
I think Campbell might be. Yeah, no, UNC Asheville does have some good scoring threats, especially from three-point range, number 3 in the conference. But Campbell, not too shabby here at number 2 in the conference is shooting the three-point shot. The one thing I don't like about when we take a look at UNC Asheville is the defensive side of it here. Now, they do turn you over, which is a major plus. But when you take a look at defending, 11 teams in this conference, 10th at defending the 3, dead last at defending the 2. And if they can keep Campbell off the foul line, that's going to certainly help them. But I would actually lean towards Campbell in this game. Coin flip type game. Give me Campbell. Give me the points on the road here. I think it's lined appropriately, -1s, -1.5. So I do think we get some points, but I like Campbell here to pull off the mild upset.
Max.
Not so fast, Donnie.
I knew that was coming.
UNC Asheville is coming for their revenge. We said it last time. It didn't happen. I'm saying it again. It's happening this time. I'm putting my stamp of approval on it. I took UNC Asheville -1. I took the over 140. I expect the explosive offense to be able to know what they're coming for in defense, and I think that Gensler and Henderson are going to be defunct. They're going to be deflated. They're going to wish that they had something to eat, and all they have is soup. And UNC Asheville is not going to lose 3 times in 1 year to this Campbell team without Chris Clemens. No
I love that, Max. I love that. That's the most excited I've seen you. We got 3 games to go. I'm going to stay with you, Max. And we got High Point getting 4.5 going into USC Upstate.
Yeah, this is a spot where I think that USC Upstate needs to frickin' obviously bring their game. I think that with Jamal Wright and John Michael Wright for High Point, what have they done against this team? They've smacked them in the mouth and told them to call them daddy. I think that there's a situation here tonight where that could happen again. This High Point team definitely has had stretches of the conference season where they've been profitable and they've been bettable. I think that this is a situation where they may have a little bit of value tonight. They're coming in off a 3-game losing streak. South Carolina Upstate had a very unpredictable and unforecasted 54-point output in the second half versus Donnie's Hampton Pirates. I expect them to come back down to earth. I expect for High Point to actually be able to get off the schneid, and the perfect antidote to do that would be their good friend South Carolina Upstate, who they've already beaten twice this year. This is a spot where I look at High Point. This is a spot where I look at South Carolina State, High Point under 139 or 138.5.
Okay, under 139.5 is good enough. I just thought that High Point money line, Donnie.
Yeah, but when you look at these games, depending on which side you like in this, but I think Max is on to an even better point here. Line opened up at 139, 140 offshore. Now we're seeing 138.5, and I agree with it because, again, when you have 2 defenses that aren't all that great, you see Upstate and High Point certainly don't play much defense, but you need offenses and you need tempo to exploit those bad defenses. You get neither from both of these teams. 11 teams in conference. One team is dead last at shooting the 3. The other one is second to last. And then when you take a look at moving inside the arc, one team is 10th, one team is 9th in an 11-team league. If you have something to play off and say, well, hey, you know what? They're going to get tempo. They're going to push it really fast. That's not even going to be the case in this game. I lean towards the under in this one. I would be surprised if this game goes on the over side. So I'm going to lean on the under here, and that's the way to go.
Yeah, 139.5. We like that. That's a decent number. I mean, I can see this being maybe play a couple of times in running, and you can have a massive middle if you can get it around 122, 123. Donnie, Loyola versus Lehigh, and this is a pick'em, but the road dog is getting 1.
Yeah, it looks like here we opened up around that -1. Now actually moving into the right direction here for Lehigh. Now sitting at a -2 over under in this game at 147. I don't have a great feel for this conference overall, but when you take a look at some things that teams do well, Loyola, Maryland, #1 in the conference at getting to the free throw line. And you take a look at Lehigh in a 10-team conference, they're 7th at fouling you, so that could be a key component here. But again, taking a look at getting to the free throw line, you do have to convert in conference play. Only 65% free throw shooting for Loyola in this one. Probably lean towards Lehigh just because of their home team, but I don't have anything official in this game. I don't want to steer anybody wrong.
Max, there's only 2 games to go. You're not leaning, are you?
No, I'm not leaning. I don't care about steering people wrong. You know, I'm losing money, then they're losing money. It's all good.
It's all good.
The bottom line is
this
Lehigh team's beat. Sorry, Flash. Lehigh team's beating Loyola, Maryland twice this year. What they were able to do both times with Andrew Kostecka in the lineup. Now Andrew Kostecka's not in the lineup. That puts more pressure on Cam Spencer and Isaiah Hart, and we saw what happened. They come out strong in the first half. They have trouble closing out games, even with the addition of Santi Aldama, the Spanish import, who made probably a big mistake going to Loyola, Maryland. Fact is, I think that Lehigh has value even at 2. I think that the better play, in my opinion, is the under. I think that 147.5 is a generous under. I think that Loyola, Maryland may get out to a fast start, but I do not think that they are going to be able to get the pace that they want, get to the free throw line as often as they want. And I think that with Lehigh having James Karnick back to go along with Nick Lynch, they have good size in the front court to really diffuse Golden Dyke and Santi Aldama. So I look at Lehigh also, but the play I want to make official for the show, and I'll make my play of the goddamn day under 147.5 Lehigh and Loyola, Maryland.
So that's your play of the day, is it? Under 147.5, Lehigh hosted Loyola, Maryland. That's
Yes,
it? That's it, is it? That's it. Play of the day.
Yeah.
I'll ask you play of the day at the end, and I want more than one. Donnie, play of the day. Under 147.5. I can see you licking your lips.
Yeah, why not? I mean, that seems like a decent play, right?
Yeah, it does look like a decent play. What about Holy Cross? Getting 13 going into Bucknell. I'm going to come to you, Donnie. This is the last game.
Yeah, Bucknell shredded this team twice. They'll probably shred him again. But again, when we take a look, this isn't like, my cheerleader girlfriend's over there. My parents are in the stands. It's midway through February. Let me get mine. You're looking more towards the next game once you have this one wrapped up, which is why I would lean towards the first half. I think Bucknell at home here gets out to a double-digit lead. I think they cover the -7. That's the way I'm looking in this game. I don't want to mess around full-time, even though I do think Bucknell can cover. I think they come out strong tonight at home and be up double digits and put this one away.
Max, Bucknell. First half, -7 for Donnie. Where are you going with this one? And it is the last one.
Yeah, I agree with Donnie on the first half. Holy Cross has been a good bet throughout the season, whether it be non-conference, conference, to bet against in the first half. I think having Austin Butler back in the lineup does give Holy Cross an advantage later on in games. But early on, I expect Bucknell to do what they've only been able to do against Holy Cross in the conference, and that's dominate them. The play that I really like is the over 141.5. I love the fact that it opened at 144.5, and I'm getting this 3 points of value. I'm all over that like cream cheese on frickin' toast. So, Holy Cross 141.5 is the play that I like the most in that game.
Donnie, give me a play of the day. 1, 2, 3, whatever you want.
Let's go. You know what? We're going to go to the little bit of Syracuse action. Even though it's cold, the action should be hot over in Chestnut Hill. I'm going to take the team total over 73.5. Give me them 3 balls. And God damn it, Boston College, please reciprocate and push this number up. 73.5 team total Syracuse. Play of the day.
Okay, there's Donnie's big fat worm. Okay, Maxie, baby, I'd like one from you other than Lehigh under 147.5.
Yeah, listen, I'm just going to go with one that I posted earlier. It's going to be Iowa. I think Iowa gets revenge. I like the number moving against Purdue right now, so you're going to get a better number than I got. Iowa, Luka Garza, last game at home at Carver Arena. Hawkeyes are going to feast and get their revenge, and they're going to drink 20 Boilermakers.
Okay, gives me a good opportunity to give you just a few of the ones that are really strong in their book, if they're not quite play of the days. We've got Asheville -1.5, Iowa now -4.5, Michigan State -1.5, South Alabama, App State -2, and remember, Lehigh under 147.5. That is absolutely monstrous. Sorry I didn't get to chat with you in the chat, but tomorrow is another day. Donnie, Bernie Sanders, thank you very much. Max, enjoy that apple Danish. I can see you've been salivating looking at it for the last hour and a half. Great work, gentlemen, and we'll see you again tomorrow. See you later.